All around the world, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Now, you have come to this program where we're talking football with Cosmas Zulu, the only man who dreams in color. Today, I've got very interesting personalities there. I've got Mr. Nkululeko Mabhena, who was a treasurer and he became, in Highlanders in the 90s. You will tell me exactly what he achieved during that time. I don't want to preempt that. And on my far left, I've got Herbert Dick, one of the defenders, prominent defender who played for the national team, for various big teams in this country. And he's doing something still in football, contributing to the welfare of players. He's going to tell you exactly also what he's doing now. So, as usual, we always give our respect to all players around the world who passed on. So, we're going to give 1 minute silence before we start. Just to tell you, the photographer, take off your hat as well. Thank you. Let's go for a minute silence, gentlemen. Oh, thank you. No, guys, now I think I can put on my hair. See, you've got to understand, Mr. Mabhena and Mr. Nkululeko, that mina ngori, and you pay, you see me, that's why I have to put on my hair, so you can see with the You're welcome to this program, Mr. Mabhena.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Herbert Dick.
Thank you.
I'll start with you, Mr. Mabhena. Who is Mr. Mabhena? How did you come into football? Can you explain that to us?
Born and bred within the Highlanders family. My father used to take us to Papa Fields.
Yeah.
You remember, Papa Fields is a ground, training. So that's where we used to go watching Highlanders in training. And then ekuseni sihambe ground siyalungisa amabhentshi ukuthi obaba usidile bafike bahlale ya ground kwamba then sasihlala ku touch line laphana kuyithe stop amabhora and things like that, so sasihlala kwambana ku touch line ngesikhathi sokuqala. Then fast forward sengiqedile eMzilikazi High School ngasebenza khona apha ngo-1991 yikho ngangena ku-Sports Association, Highlanders ile Sports Association. I was the Sports Association coordinator, and then kwaba le opportunity for a secretary ngasebenza within the club. Initially ngideputizer uRoger Muhlwa, but I eventually became the secretary of the club. And also saying secretary of the club, at some point when there was a need for a team manager, I also assumed that position. At that time, the club so one of the things that I brought into Highlanders was my passion for the club, which even if the club could not afford to pay a manager, I mean, I was the only club manager in the Premier League who was not being paid a salary. I didn't draw a salary.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Yes.
All I want to know now, later on, you finished your career as an official as a secretary.
My last position at the club was treasurer.
Treasurer.
Yes. So secretary. In 1993. That's when I also became I was both secretary and the team manager of the club. And incidentally, you were one of my staff, Cosmas Zulu. Yes, was one of my staff. But when you were bringing us this thing, when the club needed to rebuild our youth side, you were heading our youth side, you were rebuilding that side yourself. And then Peritaka as one of our managers, Pareto. And then, but at some point you came still into the senior team to strengthen it, coming from the juniors, because you had all the juniors which you brought with you, where we wanted you to come and build the team from down up. And then that was the strength you were bringing the club. So in 1993, that's when we won the Premier League championship. Oh, beautiful. Yes, the Premier League championship.
You know what? That's 30 years back. I can't remember that. I was part of Ireland. Anyway, thank you for that. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
And now I've got a gentleman here called Herbert Dick. He's the only player who's got two English names. Dick, are you a European or how can you have two European names? Herbert Dick. Who is Herbert Dick, my man?
I'm a mixed one.
Dear Herbert Dick.
Herbert Dick was born in Kadoma.
All right.
Yeah. A small town in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
A cold town in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Kadoma was staying in a small compound called name Ingezi.
Ingezi, oh yes.
Ingezi.
A sign there.
A sign there. Yeah. That's where I grew up. I learned there at Mpawase Primary School.
Yeah.
Primary level, I went to high school level, sorry. Yeah. I went to Waverley High. Okay. Which is now Rimuka 3.
Okay. Right.
I don't know, they changed again now.
The names.
That's Herbert Dick.
Yeah. Tell me, how did you come to Amazulu from Kadoma, a small town, and come to a big city?
Tsano, it was a long journey for Herbert Dick. Yeah. My family, they didn't want me to play football. Okay. Because I got injured when I was young, a broken toe, and Kudara, it was hard for them to take you to the hospital, because it won't be club or it won't be someone taking, only your family can take you to hospital. So I could cheat my family. Holidays, I could go to Chegut, because it was closer. Maybe we can pay 20 minutes exactly. So I could go play junior football there in Chegut. So every holiday, I could make sure that I would go to Chegut. So that's how I became a player from Chegut there. In Kadoma, I didn't play much as a junior. So I played in Chegutu. I played for a lot of teams. Small teams. I played for Chegutu Kenpek. We used to can beans. That ends. The ones you used to eat.
That's true.
I used to work there. I used to work there. So the guy was coach. Who was our coach was Nyazika, not Ashton. The other brother. So from Chegutu Kenpek, they were named Chegutu Kenpek. After Chegutu Kenpek, I joined the Chegutu Pirates. That was a municipal team. That was after school. So I joined that team because we could get a
just
job.
To cut you there, after all these years in there, I would like to know who brought you here in Nkululeko.
In Blawayo, I remember to join Amazulu. That was one who was coaching. That was the Chosim Mhlawure and Gibson Omela.
Oh, okay.
They saw me playing against Amazulu.
Yeah.
And by then we didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
I was playing for F4 Flats.
Okay, F4 Flats, yeah.
F4 Flats, yeah. So it was back to back.
Yeah.
2 games within a week.
Yeah.
So what happened is we came here, we played Amazulu. We drew. Because Amazulu, it was a team of stars.
Yeah.
Then we went to Kadoma, return league.
Yeah.
We beat Amazulu 1-0.
Yeah.
That was their first defeat, if I remember, of the season.
Yeah.
Then Mr. Omela started asking, who is this man?
Yeah.
Then people, they were all over me. You know that small town with the supporters. So Mr. Omela ended up talking, no, my boy, I want you to join Amazulu as a professional.
Yeah.
But I did talk to my mom, then my mom refused because I was working at a refinery, Empress Nico refinery.
Okay.
So I could not lose my job because of Amazulu. They say there's no job.
Yeah.
The job is for you to play football.
That's true.
You'll be getting paid when you are playing football. Then my mother refused. Then comes in Mr. Lupepe with his strong pocket.
Yeah.
Then he just said, no, Mom, his Shona was there. It wasn't that good.
Yes.
Mama to kwanza kutengera mwana wenyu imba.
Yeah.
Mogara mumba yakanaka.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what he did, Mr. Lupepe. Then Mom said, are you serious? Said, look for a house, then I can buy this boy. That's how I came to Amazulu.
Saka, you tell me imbega tengo ukado.
Yagato tengo ukado.
Ndugu mama so.
Mama wakazoshaya.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
But imba iripo. Wow.
Yes, you see,
Wow.
Listen here.
Yeah.
To all those people listening here now, you won't be surprised why Amazulu within 10 years, a small club could manage to win the league championship. This kind of motivation is nowhere to be seen in our local football.
True.
So you can actually tell, I think you remember in some of my episodes where I was saying, Delman Pepe actually brought some professional football in this country.
Indeed, he did.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You remember when I said, he's going to, when I was his coach and we're discussing about these things. This is exactly the development. This is where professional football came from this country. With Delma Pepe bring me that bamboo issue. I used to tell you that you put a seed now in a bamboo tree and it takes 7 years to come to germinate. But after germinating, it goes 60, 90 meters tall within 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Particular. Anyway, coming back to you with Mabhena. After your stint with Highlanders, what is it that during your time you didn't do, you think can be done now?
Maybe to just recap from the time I was secretary. One of the things, or when I was team manager, one of the things that I feel football has missed is understanding the value of a football player. And also understanding his worth even after the game. So this is an element that is missing. If I were to look at myself and ask myself what it is that I didn't do well, maybe because during my term I never left any foundation of recognizing players. Because if you look at there's an incident in South Africa where a Sundowns player is picking bones in the street and things like that, and I was following Pisom Msimane, now trying to look at this boy. He is a destitute, but he made football. We've got a number of here in Zimbabwe. There is a time where we followed each other at funerals, where we want to speechify over our fallen players. But you ask yourself, what is it that we've done for these players during the time of their life? So that is the missing element.
Thank you. See, to all those people around the world, you remember me in episode talking about what the gentleman Mabhena is saying, that the core business of any football club is the player. If you can't look after the player, why are you in that business? Why are you in football? Because human asset is so important than anything else. It's so powerful. You can't talk about a computer if there's no human being operating that computer. So hence I'm saying it's so nice and it's touching to hear a former official talking about, you know, the welfare of the player.
Yeah.
The welfare of the player, that's, you know, it's so nice, Mr. Mabhena, to hear you saying that. I'll come back again to you, Mr. Herbert Dick, you know, and you won the league championship with Amazulu, the club which was even less than 10 years old. What was it that you were doing differently to another club? Because even now in the history of this country, no club has ever won a championship within 10 years of coming into league. You get teams like Wanke, we've been here more than 60 years, big clubs. Some even went away without. What is it, do you think, you can share with us why Amazulu won the championship within 10 years?
Okay, Tsano. Why Amazulu won the championship within that period of time?
Yeah.
Those people, they were focused.
Okay.
The management,
Yeah.
but the executive, even the owner.
Yeah.
He was also professional.
Yes.
Because he can't promise you what he can't give you.
That's very good.
Was the problem with these other clubs which are coming now? They promise you lies.
Yeah.
They can buy you a plane.
Yeah.
While they can't even buy them a car. So that's the problem why these other clubs, they are failing even to reach their targets.
Beautiful. You know, Dick, you know, this is interesting today, you know, to hear things like this coming from you guys. In our last episodes, we're talking about these things, about, you know, the current officials in clubs. There's no integrity. There's no honesty.
Yeah.
You know, when they talk to a player and say, come, I'll give you the money tomorrow, and tomorrow the guy is nowhere to be seen. You see, those little things, you know, they actually violate, you know, the philosophy or the tactics the coach wants to put across, because the certain player is coming not to help you on Sunday. So I'm so happy to hear that, you know. Everything coming from, I hope, you know, all the people running football in this country or all over, you can hear it from yourselves, from the horse's mouth, the Herbert Dick, who has been a player for several clubs. He tells you exactly why Amazulu won the championship, because there was a lot of professionalism, integrity, and being honest, and being accountability to themselves.
Maybe there is another side to Amazulu.
Yeah.
There's another side, if I can come in there, if you allow me.
Yeah.
It's very, you will be narrow if you look at Amazulu from their own side, without looking at them in terms of their impact into the football in general. From my vantage point, where I was an administrator and I was competing against Amazulu, first of all, what Amazulu did for the teams in Bulawayo, they lifted the bar in terms of competition. So in other words, you had Zimbabwe Saints, then you had the Amazulu, then you had Highlanders. So in town, already that bring in that kind of competition at that level. And Amazulu was not polite in their way of coming in. They came and they were not apologizing. They came at that level. So in other words, if I was playing Amazulu, my attitude was in the same framework as I had when I was playing Dynamos. So they raised the bar. Number two, in terms of you also cannot look at Highlanders' performance even in winning the championship when I was team manager myself without looking at what Amazulu brought in. Because now what Amazulu brought in, they made 3 teams in Bulawayo. So automatically we now had a team where we could actually be away but in town, in playing in Bulawayo but being away. So our our supporters could actually watch Highlanders playing away but at Papa Fields. Yeah. And then they could then watch Zimbabwe Saints playing away at Papa Fields. Yeah. That had an impact from a finance point. Yeah. It lowered our traveling expenses. It brought our costs down, but so that means we're teams that we could play, and that money could then be invested in actually paying players allowances. Yeah. So that's the area.
You see this, just to cut it, this is very interesting. Now I'm saying, to all the supporters here in Blue Area, with what Mr. Mabhena said, you can't talk and say you don't want, you want to have Blue Area Chiefs to be relegated, or chicken in, because if they are here, if we have 5-6 teams in Blue Area, that on the financial point, like what Mabhena is saying, Highlanders has got 6 times they are actually away being home in Blue Area. So you can't go around with you see, because the reason why Dynamos over the years was winning championship, because there were about 9 or 10 teams around the area.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they just could travel around there and collect points and win the championship. Hence, Mr. Mabhena is bringing this point. It's not only about winning, but financially.
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend money in hotel accommodation,
traveling
expenses, and what, by going to Harare 10 times.
And even fatigue on the players. They come, they've not been traveling, they've not played. Remember, if you're traveling to Mangura, you're traveling to Mtaro, you're covering all that, you are exhausted and you're supposed to play. But here you just walk from home, you work from your place, and you play.
That's beautiful, that's beautiful. Herbert Dick, tell me, after winning the championship with Amazulu, which are the prominent players, which players were in that team winning the championship? Can you just share with us?
Just few. Our goalkeeper was Dominic Stolle.
Yeah.
We had James Piri, right back. We had Master Masiku.
Okay.
We had Vosta Chitema. We had Deft Mkandawire.
I'm interested in this one. Maybe if you mention the name, also tell us where they are right now. Those guys, only those that you remember.
Okay.
You may go back to Dominic.
All right. Let me start with the Dominic Stolle. Dominic Stolle is in Canada. He's now coaching there in Canada. Then Master Masiku is around. He's working with BBR. He's driving that goods train. Then James Piri is around Blawayo. He's also doing his things. Vosta Chitema is around Blawayo. He's coaching BCC juniors.
Oh, beautiful.
Unfortunately, we lost Deft Mkandawire.
Yes, that's right.
He was my partner. At tackling defender. Then me, I'm available here. I'm the one who is talking. Then we have Ferdinand Machindalo. He's in Zambia. He's also coaching. Chewe Mlenga is also in Zambia. He's coaching. Norman Komani is in South Africa. Is a motor mechanic. We have Sage by Sandaka. Ayed is in Botswana, Gaborone. Goodsen Gama is around. He's coaching also juniors. We have Philip Jambaya. He's running his shop here in town. We have many gifted Zavanu. He passed away. Cosmas Zulu is with me here.
Did they play you as well?
You played your party. You played the party. Yes, the coach. Sure. I remember that game when we beat Lancashire still more than 3 goals. So I think those are the guys which I know.
That's beautiful. Do you know what actually?
Ronald Spanda. Ronald Spanda, I'm always with him. He's at home, he's doing his own things.
Thank you, Robert. No, that's beautiful. It's just a problem. But what actually makes me happy, because 70% of the players you mentioned, which are, of course, they are still involved with football. They're imparting their knowledge to the youngsters.
Sure.
Their coaches, and which is which makes me so happy. That means, you know, it's like what people say all the time, that, you know, the success of the team does not come from the knowledgeable coach. The success of the team comes from how much does those players learn from the knowledgeable coach.
Yeah.
That shows me that those boys were learning a lot from me, you know, as a coach. I'm so much happy about that. Coming to you again, Mr. Mabhena, you know, tell me, the time you've been, you know, you grew up in Highlanders family. Your father was...
My father was, yes, he was.
But tell me, can you remember all these years when there was an AGM where Highlanders could come without a financial report from the treasurer? Has this ever happened?
The not coming with a financial report per se, not necessarily, because Highlanders does prepare financial reports, but maybe a financial report being delayed. Yes. Let's look at the reason. Highlanders is the only club, I think I want to speak for it. Highlanders is the only club which has audited statements every year. That's the only club. It sets that trend and it cannot be taken away from it.
Yeah.
So it is, during the time even when I was treasurer myself, because speaking for the time I was treasurer, there was never a time I would actually not, because the financial report really assists in showing your integrity. That's why you find even after having been treasurer for Highlanders, I walk the streets freely because one of the culture that I had was that club money is not my money. First of all, what happened was, when I was manager for Highlanders, I was actually put out of pocket by working for Highlanders myself, rather than the club, because I was not even getting paid from being a team manager for Highlanders. So even when players were getting bonuses, I wasn't. But financial reports are critical. So this is why Highlanders would actually give the Sports Commission its financial report. It will give Zifa its financial report. It will give the Premier Soccer League, and the reports will be published in the press. So I am saying it was an opportunity that you would, but if you are a club and you don't bring your finances, your financial reports to the club, to the public, for the club to see, then you are chasing away investors, because those who would want to come to football, they want you to come boldly and state and show how you have used the funds. For example, when I was treasurer, if a player like Dick comes and joins the club, he probably will be paid for 1 month or 2 months, maybe giving him money collecting from the club. But the next month I want him to have a bank account. Why do I want him to have a bank account? I want the money to be traceable, so that if I say I've paid you so much, you can go to the bank and you see the player has a statement, and then he has got that. And when he has got a statement, he also starts getting trained in his own ways of being financially disciplined in the process. So that's why also, even when I went to be chairperson of the Premier Soccer League Finance Committee, that's the culture that I was bringing in from coming from Highlanders. So do I have an experience having been treasurer where I went to the AGM without a financial report? No. But have I had situations where I've been criticized when I was presenting financial report? Yes. I've had situations where you're trying to present a financial report and temperatures can be heated up and things like that. When you are a treasurer for Highlanders and you buy a white car, people think it's Highlanders money, because maybe it's better to buy a blue car, then they can associate it with Dynamo. But if it's white, if you happen to drive a white car, you must have bought it using Highlanders money. But otherwise, I walk the street freely, I sleep peacefully, because I respected I brought that integrity.
Listen here, you see, Mr. Mabhena, you know, I'm bringing this issue because you grew up in Highlanders family. Besides being a treasurer, you just, even now, you are Highlanders on your own.
Yes.
You know, hence I'm asking this question, you know, that the new generation can understand where Highlanders is coming from. What kind of officials it had over the years. People with integrity. People who followed the culture of Highlanders in trying to maintain it for the legacy of the grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. So, to me, I'm saying, Mr. Mabhena, just in short, tell me the current executive, because we've seen in the papers that it was an AGM and they failed to put a final report. Even now, as we are talking on this program, I don't think it was the meeting called for to come and give the members the financial report. It's still not there, is it? So, what advice, in short, Mr. Mabhena, can you give to this the club we love so much?
Yeah, without making a performance appraisal on the current executive, I'll just speak in general.
Yeah.
In general, if you are entrusted with the responsibility of leading a club, whatever organization, the transparency comes when you are able to present a financial report. So I don't want to go into a performance appraisal of the club. Why am I not doing that? Because I don't want to use it as a campaign point. Because I expect myself to come back to the club, maybe at least to lead it once, maybe as chairperson. I'm capable of doing that, but I don't want to use this as a campaign. So I'm just talking in general, without, and even when somebody is listening, I don't want to do an evaluation on the current executive. I want to talk in general, and I'm speaking football to any club. You are an administrator. The best way ever that you can bring the transparency out is to bring a financial report. Not just bring it, but bring it on time. So there is an issue of time value of that problem. If it was supposed to come in January and you bring it in June, you already have a problem to explain what happened, from what was the cause. So if you have a challenge, communicate them quickly. I mean, for example, Highlanders has got a process where you can actually call an extraordinary meeting. You can call a meeting before the AGM. Tell people that we are anticipating this problem in terms of our finances and things like that. When the time comes, we will not be able to bring this report. Why? We are dealing this with our auditors, and so that people know, so that people don't speculate. Don't let people speculate on what you're supposed. But I'm saying again, I am not giving a performance appraisal on the present team. I'm simply explaining a culture that can help any other club and any other place. A culture that I also prevailed in terms of my own working. It helped me very well because, like I'm saying now, I walk free in the streets because I brought my account on time and I sleep peacefully.
Thank you, Mr. Mabhena. Thank you very much. I mean, lastly, of course, you've told me now your dreams, what you actually want to do. I don't think I can bring that question again. You heard the man, even though this is not the platform to do that. But when you talk football, when you talk about development, those things come. You see, those things come. Naturally come, because we're talking about football. We're not talking about people. See?
Yeah, maybe just to add on that, I am saying, looking at what I learned from Highlanders, I think I learned from one of the best people that I worked with. You talk about Silas, I worked with him.
Yes,
I look at him as well as my mentor. Even in Treasury, I worked with Vana Tabangani.
Yes,
I learned a lot from that man. It was easy for me. Yes, the shoe was bigger than my size because I was the youngest treasurer. When I became treasurer, I was the youngest treasurer. Even when I was secretary, I probably was the youngest administrator at the time, coming at the time. But I had big shoulders to lean on, the shoulder of Vana Tabangani. If you have not had the opportunity of working closer to that man, you don't understand him, you don't know him. If you've not worked with Silas, you don't know him, you don't understand him. So I worked with them. But looking at that, I still feel I've got value that I can add in Highlanders. I can serve in the board.
Thank you, do you know, like I said, we don't really want to get that, but as we are talking, it's not really where we're talking. But to me, I still think also that you need to go back and contribute towards the team. either, even if you're not the chairman, even if you're not the treasurer, you can always go on the sidelines and you have the team.
Advice.
That's why I want you to come in. Now, Mr. Mabhena, don't just stay at home, because it can take another 20 years before you become a chairman. And all your knowledge will not help the club, will not help the club. So, as it is now, from today, Mabhena, please, put some grace to the office, to the club boss, meet it. Call the chairman, John Party, over a tea, over a drink, and talk to him what to say. Talk to him, tell him exactly how you can develop Highlanders. That is what is important now. Do you know why I said that? I've realized, don't forget, I'm the longest serving coach in Highlanders history, and the more achieved coach in Highlanders history. And I know all the officials that I've worked with over there. Some of them, they are not even watching the games of Highlanders. And they're not even contributing in any other way, which is wrong. These guys must come back. You have a meeting with John Party. You have a meeting with the treasurer. You have a meeting in the clubhouse, anywhere for a drink, and develop the brand. Develop the brand for the benefit of your grandchildren, his grandchildren, and leave some legacy. And yet your grandchildren can still find the Highlanders there. See, as I'm saying now, don't go to your grave with all this knowledge in terms of administration. Go and talk to a chicken in a treasurer, Mr. Mabhena, and tell him exactly how you won the championship at Highlanders. What were you doing? See, because if Chicken Inn or Bulawayo Chiefs win the championship, here in Bulawayo, it's good for us here in Bulawayo.
True.
So, hence I'm saying to all officials, administrators as well, current one, look for those old brooms that will help you to clean the dirty corners of football. They will give you some hints, it doesn't matter your Bulawayo Chiefs, you go to Mr. Mabhena with all this experience. Actually, he's an intellectual this man, as far as I know. And working with Ubaba Silas Ndlovu and Vana Hlabangani. Vana Hlabangani, anyway, is the son of the founder member, Ubaba Hlabangani, the founder members of Highlanders. He was the treasurer, you see, So that's why he learned all these things. And to a man of integrity and honesty, Silas Ndlovu, they could achieve, but anyway, we don't want to say that, they achieved winning the championship because also the technical stuff was good.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, now coming to you, Dick, tell me the game you actually say, this is the game I still remember now. You can share the story with your grandchildren 10 years from now.
The game we played against, that was Champions League game, we played against Petro Luanda. Yeah. Now it's Petro Atletico or Petro Luanda. Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah. When they had two strikers, dangerous strikers, that was Armando Flavio and Love.
Yes.
Those guys, and that team had Sai Kalanga, something like that. Yeah. That was a good team.
Where did you play that game?
That was in Zimbabwe, BF. We had BF.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So I was a man of the match. You know how it was at Amazulu.
Yeah.
If you are man of the match, you have a token of appreciation on what you did.
Yeah.
Why I say that? Because I was from a surgery.
Yeah.
I was done an operation on my right leg, arthroscope.
Yeah.
So I didn't. That was my first game from injury. In fact. So
how much did you get as a man of the match that time?
I can't remember. Our money used to come in an envelope. You can see it fat or it's slim, but
there is something inside.
Tell me, Dick, before you go, you didn't tell us. Tell me the executive members you had and your team manager at the time.
Yeah, our manager was Felix Matsika.
Yeah.
He was our manager by then.
Yeah.
Then we had Mjuru Kenny.
Mjuru, yeah.
We had also Zanda Mjuru,
yes,
Alexandra.
Yeah.
Then also we had Teach Mjuru.
Yeah, Mjuru, yeah.
We had also Madzore. We had also Mr. Lupepe,
yes,
our chief.
Yeah.
We had also doctors like Dr. Muti.
Yeah. You know, I remember there's one guy, a doctor. What was it called? I got a picture.
Ntungwazi.
No, the young boy, the young man, was it in Pilo? He passed away, I heard, overseas.
Oh, okay, yeah. Baloi.
Baloi, yeah.
Baloi, yeah.
And it was very
I forgot,
that's very good, you know.
Yeah.
You said you played your first leg at, what happened?
Yeah.
The second leg, did you play in Angola?
Yeah.
What happened there?
What happened in Angola, there was an issue, I don't know with was it CAF or here with the Zifa about the deaths.
Yeah.
The match was postponed. We ended up playing a midweek game. I think Tsano, you were there.
Yeah.
We thought there was no game because they said we are not going to play him, Mr. Lupepe. Said, no, let's not play because they wanted us to play on a Saturday. Which Saturday, Mr. Lupepe he had agreed with our association that we don't play on Saturdays. But that was a management issue as we were still concentrating with our football.
Yeah.
So what happened, we were told there is no match.
Yeah.
The match was cancelled, then we end up going to beach.
Yeah.
People now playing, we end up playing also a game with the Angolians there. Then we were tired, then we go to the hotel, we were told the game is rescheduled, it's on. You are now playing. And we played well because we scored first. Then they come. We lost 2-1, if I remember well.
And
we couldn't go to the next round.
But you see, you know what? Just to bring a lighter moment. You get these coaches. They're asked. He loses 4-0, right? And he's asked him, how was the game, coach? He said, no, we played very well. That's not the way actually. Weak when you lose 4-0. How can you play so well when you lose 4-0? Anyway, that's exactly so. No, we're very unlucky. We played so well, we lost 4-0, but we're very unlucky. That's not playing very well when you lose 4-0. No, thank you very much. No, coming to now, anyway, let me finish with our last, my last question to you, Herbert. What are you doing now?
Right now I'm with the Footballers Union of Zimbabwe. Footballers Union of Zimbabwe, we stand for the right of the players.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for how long have you been with this? When did you start? How old is this Players Union now?
It's a bit old. Tsano. We started this when I was still playing. That was 2005.
Yeah. So it's about 2005 to now. How many years intellectual? How many years are they in old? From 2005 until now. How many years now?
2005 to 18.
18 years.
Yeah,
that's good.
So on that one, from 2005, we're not yet a member of FIFPro. We're just doing it in Zimbabwe, but not recognized.
Are you recognized now?
Now,
and tell me
a bit. Some they don't want us closer to them. Some they want us closer because they want to learn. The ones who doesn't want us closer, they are cheaters.
They are cheaters. That's true. Tell me, Herbert, since you started, just a rough number, how much on those cases you have won for your players against clubs who really don't want to follow the laws of the game?
So far we haven't lost a case.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Meaning players they've been cheated.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just thank you.
So I think right now clubs are now coming closer to us. Some they are still running away, but still catch them while you are moving.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You see, to all those people listening, the administrators of the clubs, this players' union, to me, it's a milestone in football in this country, because a lot of administrators and people around there, they still don't want to be honest and showing some integrity to look after the players. We come back again to this thing. Let's look after the players. So to me, Herbert Dick and who's your chairman or president of that?
President is a former Dynamos player, Desmond Maringo.
Oh, the magician, the midfield magician.
Exactly. Then we have Thomas Sese, our Secretary General.
Yes, the former.
We have Nomsa, Boys Moyo, former Might Warriors.
You know the
yes, I
young lady who plays football.
Yeah.
She was my player.
As well,
Yeah.
What ladies? There's gender in there.
We have
That's
ladies,
beautiful.
yeah.
And who else again?
We have also Vaidama Kota.
Yeah.
She's our administrator.
Okay.
We have Norman Maroto is with media.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How many are you? How many offices are there around the country?
We have about 2 offices. We still want to expand.
Yeah.
The youngsters want to join, I'm sure they are interested in becoming members of FAS. How do you go about it? Like, you're a footballer, you hear FAS every day, you don't know who to approach, where to go.
Yeah.
Can you take this opportunity maybe to tell everyone out?
Okay, from the start, when you want to be a member, it's very cheap.
Yeah.
You pay a sub of $1
Yeah.
a month.
Okay.
Then joining fee is $1.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
But you see, most of the clubs, most of the players, they are also failing to pay that $1.
No, that's
but when it comes, when you come with your case now, we'll be talking of percentage.
Yeah.
So it's $1 monthly?
$1 monthly.
Yeah.
So you better pay 12 years, 13 years per year.
Yeah.
Then you ignore all equivalent with the interbank rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
you see, this is Herbert Dick and Desmond Maringo.
They're actually doing a good job.
You've done a very big job as far as I'm concerned. And I would love, you guys to actually sometimes, like the question coming from the gentleman there, to go around the country to lower divisions, clubs, so players can know their rights. There are a lot of players there who don't know that you exist. There's somebody to look after their interests. So I'm saying, if you can have small offices, or one guy sometimes in every city in this country, Herbert, it's not really about having an office. To have somebody who you employ, who goes around educating, casually, temporarily, every week in Kadoma, in Hippo Valley, and everywhere.
Yeah, we have some delegates.
Yeah,
we have some delegates. We have about 35 delegates who they sit in our Congress.
Yeah, that's good.
So every city we have someone there.
Oh,
like in side of Wange we have Obet Moyo. Here we have Mkokeli Dube.
That's good. Yes,
Captain for Blawaya Chiefs, Mkolo. Chicken so they have Matao, but now Matao is now an executive administrator. Now they are supposed to bring in someone. Then also in Mtare, Mavura.
No, you see, it's very interesting. I didn't know that about this kind of things. But what I'm saying here also, it's just a tip, and you need sometimes those retired administrators like Nkululeko, he's an intellectual. In those congresses, of course, I don't want to say I also want to be there. I don't want to do that. I actually don't want to look for a job. The job must look for me.
It's okay, Tsano. We need to, because you motivate. The way how you do it, even when you're still a coach.
Yeah.
You know, even a player, when you've got fear, you get confident.
Yes. No, thank you. But you know, like what I said, you need intellectuals.
Yeah, sure.
We're asking here how many years the union has been there. Just to bring a later note, on this,
Yeah.
These other guys over the years, those evening classes.
Yeah.
What people ask, Mr. Pofu, Shelly was the arithmetic. Do you know about then he read, so what is 5 plus 5? He puts his hands in his pocket, counting the figures, and he came up with 11. I don't know what included. Anyway, Mabhena, lastly on you, and what is it? Generally, we're having problems in Zimbabwe. You once were the reason and everything. What is it this now the country being suspended by FIFA because of maladministration, the sports commission coming in, interfering and everything. At the moment, it's actually a mixed grill. Nobody knows whether you're eating liver or you're eating matumbu, or there's a lot of all these problems. What's your take in short?
I think.
Sorry, because I'm going to another question. I'm looking at the Highlanders. During your time you bought properties, we see your California hotel, we see all these things, and I'm wondering why the club is failing to do that now. What were you doing that made sure the Highlanders can get properties, but now the club is failing even to do our grounds up? It's been years trying to put in on a clubhouse. What were you doing to make sure that Highlanders can get properties, which is a legacy that you have left behind? So there are two questions.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the Ziffa side.
Yeah.
On the Ziffa side, I will probably approach it from 3 angles. The first angle is assuming there are some misdemeanors that were done by those who were in executive. That must not be condoned.
Okay.
It must be cleaned and it must not be condoned. And again, if it is being cleaned, how long does cleaning take place? Because I'm looking at the impact of having a country band in. So how long does it take place? If I'm coming as a cleaner, as a sweeper, why does it take me 10 years to sweep when I'm supposed to sweep quickly and then restore sanity? So I am saying, assuming there are these problems which are there, because I'm saying assuming because I've not read, I don't want to point fingers. How long? Why don't they have a timeline to say we are appointing this committee so that it must within 3 months or 6 months come up with a solution? If you are coming to solve a problem, why do you take 5 years? Because you end up being a problem yourself. That's number one. So on that side, I do not condone mismanagement. I do not condone. I actually state corruption with a bitter taste. If there are maladministration and things that are not right, fix them. But a fixer must not be permanent. A fixer must come in, give a timeline and out. If a fixer takes longer than is welcome, then the fixer becomes a problem. So to those who are dealing with that problem of Ziffa, I am urging you, if you have an open-ended job description, don't take a job like that, because you are going to be a problem yourself. For us, looking at the side, knowing what it means if players are taken off international level for a year, it's too much. Careers are broken and those careers cannot be mended. And for you to make up for that, it's very difficult to make up for that. So I am urging our powers be, I'm looking at Ziffa itself, get it fixed. I'm looking at the Sports and Recreation Commission. Have I got a problem with your interference? Certainly Certainly not.
Yeah.
Have I got a problem with you being a permanent problem solver? Yes, I've got a problem.
Yes.
Be there for a short time and go out and let the football go back so that we go back. That's my side.
Thank you.
And then coming back to the issue of Highlanders. I don't want to take credit for having bought properties. I benefited from coming in as a young administrator, finding the likes of Dumiso Kumete and all the other structures had put a very sound foundation. But what did I do? When I got there, I actually assisted in renovating, refurbishing, and bringing the clubhouse into spread, even the grounds, and putting the floodlights and all the other things. I was there at the time when we were doing that. So in other that, but Highlanders can grow beyond that.
Yeah.
Highlanders can grow beyond that. Yeah. Highlanders can grow beyond even to have its own camp house. Yeah. Highlanders can go beyond. It has the capacity. It actually is a product that still is undeveloped. Yeah. It has a great potential that it can do. All what Highlanders need to do is for those who are in office, don't throw away the experience that Highlanders has picked over years. Don't wait to speechify at somebody's funeral. Yeah. Especially, I am a Christian as an Adventist. I'm telling you, when Cosmas is dead on the day of his funeral, he doesn't hear anything. Yeah. So if you are going to say the good things about him when he's dead, you are just going to be telling us, but why do you delay doing that? So if there are people whom you know they are resourceful, why do you let them until they die so that you say they were good? Bring them in and they use that bank of knowledge to develop the club. Highlanders is very rich in terms of the extent of the people that were there. And those people are within reach. But if somebody is in office and is too proud to ask, then we're not going to force ourselves and doing that. I also have got my pride as well. I don't force myself where I'm not welcome. I simply go, and if I'm supposed to watch from the terraces, I'm comfortable. I watch from the terraces.
No, thank you. Thank you. This is a very good answer, Mr. Mabhena. I've always said, last one. You get a guy in a pub. I'll be drinking last beer for the road, then the last beer for the road until they are 6. Herbert, last one. What can you tell the youngsters playing today? What is it that they're supposed to do? Also training their lives as individual after football. In short, tell the youngsters, what is it if you're a professional footballer you're supposed to do?
Yeah. Let me start with this, Mr. Zulu. There's a longer life after football. Because it's too long than our playing career. Because our career is too short. Take care of your savings. Buy a property. Let's stop buying these cars.
That's beautiful.
Those cars, they want money. From your pocket.
That's true.
So if you get a property like a house, I know a car is a property, but a house is something permanent.
For years to
you won't even move it.
That's true.
Exactly. So also on training issues, those guys, they should also concentrate on playing football, not into drugs, because we have seen a lot of talent wasted with drugs. So also when they are getting into a contract, they should call someone. They might not read. I know some they might not read, but if they have a problem with that, they can come to FA's offices. Or although they can even approach someone who is a former player. No, I have this contract. But now with our clubs nowadays, they can't even give you a contract to read. You see?
Because they
are afraid that here we are trying to cheat him. You get to know. So upon also signing your contract, get your copy. It's no longer like before where they used to say, no, this contract want to be stamped by Zifa when they'll be lying to us. You see? So upon signing, get your copy, you take it home, or before even signing, ask for even 2 days, 3 days. You take it to your lawyer if you have a lawyer, or take it to your father if he was. If it's good on reading, or also he can interpret to you in your language. Because that's why maybe we are having those difficulties with problems of contracts.
Thank you very much, Herbert, you hear it, youngsters, the players today, what Mr. Herbert doing, he's saying, please, all your earnings, invest them in property. It's important. Secondly, he's saying, this business of buying luxury cars won't help you. You see, because after football, the period is long, there's a lot of things. Don't forget, sometimes you finish your football, you just get married. Your firstborn is 3 years old, and you are no more a soccer player. Where do you get the money to educate the boy for the next 16 years? And you are not a football player. So, during the time when you are playing and you're young, invest your money for what is going to happen after football. Because you are going to have 3-4 kids after football, and where do you get the income? You're no more a football player. During your time, you were busy drinking, partying, and doing all those things. It's not good enough. And also, the reading of contracts, like what Mr. Herbert Dick is saying, is so important. Don't just rush to sign your contract without looking at the content of that contract. It's so important that you go to the offices. Now you've got Herbert Dick offices, you know. Ask where the office is. They'll advise you on your contract. So please, players, this is a very, very important tip from Herbert Dick to what you're supposed to do as a player. And thank you very much, gentlemen, and Mr. Mabhena.
Zulu, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for the privilege.
No, honestly,
thank you for the privilege.
It's
yes.
very interesting,
yes.
guys. Let me tell you that there's a lot of things you said here which will actually benefit our football in terms of development. You know, people must say anything here, but let me tell you, this has been a very, very informative talking football with Cosmas Zulu, and it's been nice having you here, guys.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Before you go, you know, you say, you know, like I've always said before, you know, we need to pray for football in this country to develop. All the officials, either the ZIFA, PSL, wherever you are, let's stop fighting one another. Because the only thing you are doing here is you are killing the careers of tomorrow's soccer players, like what Mr. Mabhena was saying. With this suspension now in the country, tell me, the boys were supposed to play in the under-17. The boys were to play in the under-20 tournaments. The boys were supposed to play in the under-23 tournaments. The players in the national team, they are all not going to do that because of bickering, because of fighting within your officials. When you forget, you're fighting, whatever you're doing. The time frame, like what Mr. Mabhena said, let's come up with a solution as quickly as possible because you're killing football in this country. Because the so-called football is the players, and they're not participating in any tournaments around the world. What are we doing, guys? Herbert, Mr. Mabhena.
Yeah, sure. It has to be fixed.
It has to be fixed now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, before we go, every time we always have a later session, you know, one of my players, I mean, I won't name the name, you know, you see, over the years, a reporter came to him and said, hey, my man, you're a good guy, man. Thank you. Tell me, on what grounds do you think you can beat Dynamos next week? Mukoma shama grounds akawanda kune Gwanzura kune Baba kune yo grounds akawanda ibaba mutiro kwa sababu
kune Mount Darwin.
The Mount Darwin, tinokwanisa kuwaja ikoko and what have you report. Thank you, Mr. Reporter, for asking a very good question. Around the world, she's talking football with Cosmas Zulu, the only man who dreams in color. But before we close this, I would like to say, all those people around the world, please, if you can be a parent, you can be an auntie, please tell your children, that includes you, don't go to bed without brushing your teeth. It's so important. Until next time, around the world, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
That's nice.
Thank you guys.
Thanks Zulu. Thank you.
No,
Thank you guys.
Bafana bami, thank you so much.